Welcome to Fun and Games Side Quests. Every episode is a different host sharing a video game they love and why they love it.
Welcome, weary warrior. My name is Steven Beaumont of the GGD podcast, where I like to joke with my friends and share tales of the media that I love. I am not Vadi Vidya. Elden Ring is one of the most discussable video games in history. The game is massive and overflowing with the good, the bad, and the downright hideous of gaming mythos and imagery. Today, I present the ABCs of Elden Ring. Journey with me, Tarnished, and maybe you would like to journey to this land of lament where liars and lords lie in wait as you learn to love the layered lore of the lands between. A is for adventure. God damn, this is a fun game. You will be journeying between beautiful fields, underground caves, below the earth itself to other vistas that I don't want to spoil. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. Shiofra River, shout out. There's so much to do. This is just such a special experience. B is for beautiful. And while you are adventuring, you're going to see some of the greatest vistas in video games. There's a dreamlike quality to Elden Ring that just transcends so many other video games in the sort of adventure RPG style because it just feels so magical to go around. C is for challenging. This game is not going to hold your hand. It has tutorialization, it has a lot of options, but you are going to be beaten to a pulp. D is for discovery. There are so many secrets in Elden Ring, you'll think that you've seen it all, but maybe just going down a path to the left and then falling down somewhere will make you go somewhere completely different on your journey. Just going through the first playthrough with friends and talking about where they have and haven't been and if they have a certain item or a weapon makes this game so magical to experience and even re-experience. The replayability is still phenomenal because it is so vast that you will just continually discover more and more. E is for environmental storytelling. This game, and much like all the rest of the Dark Souls lineage, is not told straight to the player. It is told through item descriptions, but especially it is told through the environment itself. When you go through towns and villages and castles and caves, you'll see what has happened to the world over time. You'll see where people may have died, where people may have lived, what has occurred and why it's occurring is all because of the poison of the land between and the time that has been spent in this limbo land that is slowly dying. And that is some of the most beautiful stuff to find in the game. F is for faith. Faith builds are dope, dude. You should really try out different play styles. Faith has some of the best buffs in the game. So if you're struggling against bosses, you can just boost up some of that strength or some of that defense and try again. But also it offers actual attacking options as well. But yeah, don't listen to the naysayers about having to play a certain way. Big bonk stick is win. That shit is toxic. Just play the way you want to play. G is for gods. Get ready to kill some. It's going to be a fun journey. H is for heroes. Whether it's yourself overcoming this incredible challenge or the people that you meet online summoning in for cooperative play to take down a boss that has been giving you too much grief. there are many heroes within the lands between. I is for incompetence. It is true. It will happen to you. There are certain bosses you just won't beat the first time. You may not beat them the 10th time. And that's when you really need to look at the game's world and realize how much you haven't journeyed to, because you're not ever constrained to one corridor in this game. So you can always look around, go fight some other bosses, and get stronger and return for that satisfying win. J is for jump. This is such a huge thing, and my biggest complaint about all the other Souls games is that they don't have a dedicated jump button. And with that inclusion, it just makes Elden Ring play so much better than the other games. You feel so fluid. You have additional options in terms of avoiding damage, because once you jump, your legs don't have a hitbox, which is phenomenal. And not only just the player character can jump, but also your steed Torrent can double jump, which is just such a cool thing for exploration. So to make sure that they had a jump in this open world game was a necessity, and they pulled it off very well. K is for killing. Enough said, you're going to be killing some people. L is for loot, and god damn, there's a lot of loot in this game. This is a game that you do either want to replay a lot, or you'll want to just try out a bunch of stuff on your playthrough. Don't get locked into that mentality that unfortunately stuff like Bloodborne gets you into, where you sort of get stuck with certain weapons from the start of the game. This is a game about freedom of choice. Pick up that loot, wear that silly armor, and try out that new weapon. It's just so much fun. M is for magic. And magic, again, is super dope. If you want to live out your Dragon Ball Z fantasies and do a Kamehameha, you can do that. If you want to just stay at range and pepper bosses and try to stay out of the way while being a glass cannon, you can do that. But you can also get in close with like celestial weapons made of magic and get right up in the action. You can be a battle mage, or you can be that glass cannon. It's all up to you. N is for NPCs, and the FromSoft NPC is well known for having a creepy laugh, and there's an abundance of those NPCs in Elden Ring. Yes, the quests are convoluted and confusing, but if you do see them through to the end, there's always some sort of satisfying payoff. O is for overcome, because that is what all the Souls games are about. It's about overcoming the odds. It's about facing down against what is a god and just being a normal peasant that has just slowly grown over time to match the wits and match the pace of these gods. P is for pain. It does suck to lose and die and lose again and lose 50k of your runes. That stuff, it sucks, but it's a teaching moment. It teaches you to be patient. It teaches you to spend your runes. It teaches you that you can overcome, that you can get past this, that you have the ability to bounce back. Q is for quiet. This game and the Souls games in general let the environment speak for themselves with very little music, and it's something that's just so special and so immersive. Especially if you get into sort of creepy moments, it's just you and the sounds of your footfalls and the sounds of something scurrying in the darkness. It's a really beautiful choice, and when obviously the boss music kicks in, it absolutely ramps up that tension and ramps up like the importance of what you are doing. R is for rebirth. If you're not happy with your builds, don't worry. At a very early section of the game, about 25% through, most players will have unlocked the ability for rebirth. So if you want to respec, if you cannot beat a boss and you think maybe if I was a different build I could take this down, you can do that. I personally did that on my first playthrough fighting the fire giant. I changed to a faith strength build from a dex build to try and take him down because I just didn't feel like my DPS was doing enough and my build just wasn't quite enough. And then I was able to overcome that. So there's always a chance to try out new things, and that is that replayability within the same playthrough is so cool because of Rebirth. You can just keep trying out new stuff, and there's plentiful supply of Rebirth items. S is for summons. Summons are such a fun addition to Elden Ring because not just getting an NPC co-op player or getting someone online to come in, but having your own little minions, whether it's some wolves or a massive ogre troll thing that just can take a whole heap of damage, or some skeleton warriors. It's just so fun to play as like this kind of necromancer build, summoner build. It's really, really sick. Definitely try it out. T is trial by fire. The one thing that will eventually get beaten into your head is sometimes it will be a skill issue. Sometimes you do need to sit and learn that boss's patterns, learn their combos, learn when you're able to punish, and take your time. You can't just go in blind every single time and expect to win first time. It is a trial by fire. U is for usurper. You have the ability to take down gods and take your rightful place as the king of the land if you so choose. V is for victory, and that's what we all want at the end of the day. And the beauty of Elden Ring and Souls games in general is that winning a boss fight, especially one that you have struggled against, is one of the greatest feelings in video games because it felt so impossible to begin with. And then you slowly get better and you get better and you get better and you get a 90% health bar drop on the boss and you die, and then you'll never get there again for another hour, but slowly you just learn and eventually win. W is for weapons, baby. And Elden Ring has some of the greatest ones out there. From Wolverine claws to katanas to great swords to big old bonk sticks, maces, flails, bows. The world is your oyster in Elden Ring. And if you are looking to kill something, there's the weapon for you. And now we get into the bonuses. The last punk letters of the alphabet. X is for XXX. For all you filthy-minded people out there, there's a lot of unshod feet in this game, so keep your eyes out, eagle-eyed players. Y is for yearning, and no, it's not about the feet thing again. Y is for yearning for other video game experiences to match what you get from an Elden Ring or a Souls game. That feeling of being terrible and then being great and overcoming the odds is something that is so unmatched in so many other games, and you will forever be yearning. But just remember, you can replay video games. Do not be afraid to replay video games. You do not have to stay in touch with the zeitgeist every day of your life. Feel free to return. In talking about return, and in talking about rebirth, this is the only thing I can think of for Z, which stands out to me. Z is for Zoro. Pirate Hunter Zoro from One Piece. You can literally be that dude. There are so many cool katanas in this game, and oh man, the weapons in this game are just phenomenal. So if you haven't taken the plunge, I very, very highly recommend this journey. for anyone that loves video games. That's all from me. Happy gaming.
In a world where there's often 60 plus years of history to worry about, how can you quickly get into a new comic character or franchise? If you're like me, then you turn to video games. But how well does that work out? In some cases, pretty well. In others, it's a giant disaster. But how can you know which games will set you on the right path and which games will just leave you more confused than you were before? Play Comics is the show for you. I'm Chris, and each episode we take a look at video games based on comic properties and how well they stick to that source material. So listen in and get the scoop on which games are worth your time over at playcomics.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.